This is The Devil of Equestria, written by Fen-wukong and read by Fen-wukong. Please like, share, and subscribe if you so wish. Chapter 3 The Demon's Friend. As Twilight looks on in horror, she shouts, "Spike!" As she goes to run towards the strange alien, it shouts, "Take another step, and I swear to God I will chuck this little freak!" As Aaron holds Spike, the dragon shouts, "Don't worry, Twilight! I'll be fine! Besides, I can take the fall!" In response, Twilight shouts, "Spike, respectfully, no, you can't!" In agreement, Aaron responds with a slight, "She's right, you can't, buddy." As everyone stands, Aaron pulls out his pistol from his side holster and points it at the group, and shouts, "Alright, first things first, who the hell sent you?" As they all stare with anger, Rainbow says, "No one sent us, but I know where I'm gonna send you when I shove my hoof up your rainbow!" Rarity interrupts as she glares at the rainbow Pegasus. As they stare at each other, Aaron says, "Okay, here's how we're going to do this. Each of you get one question, and you walk up and ask it. We keep going until everyone's gotten a turn, and then all of you leave and do not come back. Am I understood?" As the group looks, they all nod to each other, and in a single moment, Pinky goes up and shouts, "Ooh, me first!" As she walks up, she begins to ramble question after question. As she went on, Aaron stares and tries to get her attention. Wait, hey, okay, stop! Aaron shouts. "One question, please!" As Pinky nods, she says, "Oh, right." As she clears her throat, she asks, "What's your name?" Aaron did not expect a personal question. He thought it would have been more on the lines of, "Why are you here?" and "What are you?" and "I swear to God, if you hurt that baby dragon, I will kill you." But not what his name was. As his mind quickly processes the slight surprise, he replies, "My name is Aaron." As Pinky smiles, she starts to hop slightly. In all honesty, she didn't think they would actually tell her their name. As she walks to the group, she high-fives Rainbow, tagging her in. As Rainbow walks up, she glares at Aaron and asks, "Okay, Aaron, how would you like your flank kicked?" As Aaron stares, he asks, "What the hell does flank mean?" In response, Spike whispers, "She wants to know how they should kick your butt." Oh. Looking back at Rainbow, he responds with, "I would prefer a fight with someone who I don't need to just hop into the giant machine over there to simply crush into a fine paste." As Dash glares, she says, "Oh, why, Hayata?" As she rolls up her imaginary sleeves on her t-shirt before being grabbed and dragged back to the group by Applejack. As Applejack puts Rainbow next to Twilight, she walks up and clears her throat. "Ah, hi," Aaron responds, waiting for her to ask a question. As he stares, slightly annoyed, AJ looks and asks, "Why are you here?" As Aaron's subconscious finally gets to sigh, he says, "Finally someone with a normal question." As he looks, he says, "I was imprisoned on an enemy ship, and it just so happened to crash on your planet." AJ stares and says, "So you're not here to invade our planet?" "No," Aaron says sternly, as AJ nods her head, tipping her Stetson, and says, "Good to know, buddy." As she walks back, Aaron gets a bit more excited for the next question. As AJ walks next to Rarity, she smiles and mouths, "You got this." As she walks up, she steels herself and asks with anticipation, "Who gave you that outfit? 'Cause darling, it does not seem to show. Look at me, I'm here, this is who I am." As Aaron's slight grin drops, he has all his hope for a serious question taken out back and shot dead. Staring, he says, "It's my pilot suit, and this is just my jacket." Rarity looks at the worn jacket, at all its cuts and marks, and says, "Oh dear, you must come to my boutique so I can make you a proper outfit." Aaron, who is not subtly done with this, says, "Yeah, not gonna happen." As Rarity narrows her eyes, she walks back, thinking of some minor calculations on Aaron's height to probably to properly make an outfit for the young man. As Fluttershy walks up, she whispers, Aaron, moving his ear towards Fluttershy, asks, Please speak up. Fluttershy, looking back with hair covering a bit of her face, as she looks, everyone is giving her looks that have varying degrees of, You got this. Giving a small smile, she looks back and says, What are you? This time, not much louder. As every pony else is about to groan, Aaron responds with, I'm a human from planet Earth. As Fluttershy looks with slight surprise that he had even heard her, even though she had whispered, she nods and walks back, releasing a deep breath that was weighing down on her, and letting Twilight pass her. As Twilight stands, she thinks. A good minute passes before she finally asks, Are you alone? Aaron, for a slight moment, is shook by the question. Slightly lowering his gun, he thinks, before answering, No. Besides, I have Barbados with me. As Twilight tilts her head, she responds with, Who? In response, Aaron points at the giant machine at the back of the cave and says, Them. The mobile suit's name is Barbatos. As Twilight looks back to Aaron, she says, So is Barbatos your family? Aaron stands as he thinks. Closing his eyes, he gently puts Spike on the ground and says, You've all taken your questions, so please, leave. As he moves to the side of the entrance, every pony else moves past the young man. But as Spike moves, Aaron says, Hey. As Spike turns his head, Aaron says, You got a question too, right? Spike, taken aback, stands at the cave's mouth and thinks. Looking at Aaron, whose face is covered by the shadows, he says nothing. As Aaron turns and takes a step in, he hears, Do you not have a home? Aaron freezes as his eyes shoot open. He stands there and finally says with a minor shake in his voice, Not anymore. As Spike stands, he turns and says, before walking away, Well, I'm sure Twilight would be willing to talk about giving you a home. You just gotta ask. As Spike hears Twilight call his name, he jogs to the others. As Aaron takes a shaky breath, he walks up to Barbatos and puts his pistol back before climbing the side of the mech. Entering the cockpit, he grabs the bag at the seat's side and opens a pocket, pulling out a small wooden box with embroidery on it. Opening it, a quiet tune plays as he sits and thinks about the home he had. It says silently, I miss you guys. Twilight puts the food boxes into the basket. Spike walks in with a towel and hands it to her. Spike, looking up at his sister, asks, Are you really going to go there alone? Twilight nods, saying, I don't think bringing everyone else would make this easier. Besides, I can handle myself, Spike. Spike looks and says, At least bring the royal guards, or me for that matter. Twilight shakes her head and says, If I bring guards, he'll be on edge, and if I bring you, I risk him hurting you. Spike, upset, says, So I guess it's stay here then. Yes, Twilight responds, and this time you stay here. Got it? Spike, looking at her, says, Fine. Twilight, looking at him, hugs her little dragon brother. As Aaron wakes up, he rubs his eyes and sees that he was still in the cockpit of his mobile suit. Climbing out the cockpit, he climbs onto the shoulder and checks the paint job on the symbol slightly rubs it. All he feels is the cold metal. Climbing down, he hears footsteps. As he turns with his pistol, he says, Who's there? Twilight, entering the cave, holds the basket up and says, It's just me. With a smile, she looks at him. Aaron then responds with, I told you not to come back. Ah, yes, Twilight says. But you didn't say don't come back without snacks. Aaron glares. Really? Wordplay, he says. You're using wordplay to not listen to my demands. As Twilight holds the basket, she says, I have chocolate chip cookies. As Aaron stares, a small sense of anger from growing in him, he says, I'm not interrupting him was the sound of his stomach growling with hunger. As he stares with a deadpan face, he says, come in. As Twilight gives a minor yes, she walks in and uses her magic to set the towel and starts putting food containers on said towel. After setting up utensils for each of them and putting down paper plates, Aaron sits on the towel, picking up the fork. Twilight asks with a minor sparkle in her eye, so, anything you want to talk about? Preferably about your world? She says with a massive grin. As Aaron looks, he says, if you don't want your guards to die, I suggest you call them off. As Twilight looks at him, her grin drops as she says, there are no guards. In response, Aaron says, oh, so you're going to try to poison me now? What? No! As she says. Aaron looks at the salad she is putting on, as she says, as Aaron looks at the salad she is putting on his plate. Looking at her, he says, and why am I supposed to believe you? Twilight then frowns and says, what do I get from trying to hurt you? In an instant, Aaron says, oh, I don't know. You get a super powerful weapon, you take my stuff from my dead body, and an alien from another world out of your hair. But you could be a friend. As she says this, Aaron is taken aback before he says, I don't know what drugs you're taking right now, but I am no one's friend. But Twilight responds, you could be. Aaron scoffs. Oh, please. First thing I did out of my coma on this planet was turn 5 separate guards into paste. Who would want to be my friend after a display like that? As he looks, smiling, thinking he's won, it is dropped as Twilight says, I want to. As he looks, he hangs his head down and says, then you and everyone else on this planet is mental. Twilight sits, and then looks up and sees Barbatos, still on its knees. From how it looked, it almost seemed to look downward at Aaron, but not like Tyrek with her and her friends, or Discord when they met, but more like a parent, staring solemnly at their sad child. Looking back at Aaron, she asks, how does it work? Huh? Aaron says in response. Twilight points at the giant robot and says, Barbatos, was it? How does it work? Or do you prefer they? As Aaron looks, he asks, do you want to build one or what? I want to know what it's like for you. As Aaron looks, a small spark lights in his eyes as he says, well, there's a connection point in the scene in the back. What connects to it? Twilight asks, interested, pulling out a notebook and pen out of thin air. In almost no time, Aaron sits tall and excited as he says, okay, so there's these things called nanites, and they're like tiny robots, and they put themselves together to make a connection spike on my spine, and it's also able to come out on my back without causing any damage. It connects to my nervous system to the machine to control it, while also being able to look out of the eyes of the machine and fight better than any other mobile suit out there. As Twilight writes down in her book, she says excitedly, so can it be like to look through so what can it be like to look through the eyes of your mobile suit? As the two talk all about the mobile suit for well over 2 hours, Aaron breathes as he says, you don't know how long I've been wanting to talk all about this thing with someone who doesn't want to build one just to kill me. As Twilight looks with a grin, she says, I see you're not hungry anymore. As Aaron hears this, he looks at the empty containers and is only just now aware of the pain he feels in his stomach. As he holds it, he says, oh, why does my stomach hurt? As Twilight sees this, she asks, oh, my Celestia, are you okay? I don't know, he says as she moves to him to make sure he isn't dying. As she uses her magic to sense through his head, she sees no memory of allergies, but many memories of nights with an empty stomach. As she looks, she feels a hand grip her horn as the spell is disrupted. Looking at Aaron, he says, don't you ever do that again. As Twilight gently removes the hand from her horn, she says, I'm sorry, I panicked. But good news is you're not dying. Well, it feels like it. As Twilight looks, she says, I take it you've never really been full before. As Aaron looks, he says, only once. I guess I'm just not used to the feeling. As Aaron grips his shoulder, Twilight hugs him. As she holds him, she says, well, that's what friends are for. To help each other experience things we normally wouldn't. As Aaron feels a strange warmth, he lets her hug him. Twilight waves goodbye as she flies back to Ponyville. As Aaron looks, he waves back and he says, what was that feeling? It was warm. As Aaron thinks, he says, is this what it's like to have a friend?